Started. Firstly, warmly welcome you to the live session. I'm Charmaine and I'm the host and moderator today for this talk. Quick introduction of myself and how I was involved in the previous SUTD Venture Building Program Run 1. My background is digital marketing and marketing. So I did a session with the startups, and I managed to have the opportunity and to mentor 2 to 4 startups during my 3 months mentorship gig, and also aside the workshop that I conducted with these startups that were participants in the Venture Building Run 1 in November 2020 all the way to January 2021. All right, so that's me. And these are just some of the pictures from the workshop of other speakers and the trainers who were facilitating the program. And to let you know what's going on in the next 30 to 45 minutes of this talk and what to expect from this sharing is we will share with you what has gone on in the Venture Building Run 1, what is venture building all about, and we'll hear from SUTD's program lead and also the 3 founders who have actually completed the program recently. And if you have any questions, remember to share it with us in the comments, and we'll take your Q&A as well along the way. And at the end of this whole session, we'll leave about 5 to 10 minutes for Q&A time. All right, so without further ado, let me pass this time over to Vanan to introduce himself. And he's from SUTD. He's the community manager at SUTD's VIE. Vanan, over to you.
Thanks, Charmaine. Happy to be here with our VV cohort 1 stars, and also glad to see so many of you joining us this afternoon. So I'm Vanan from SUTD's Venture Innovation Entrepreneurship team. I'm basically the comms and the community guy that helps build up a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem in SUTD. So this includes students, researchers, faculty, as well as PMETs through collaborative projects, as well as programs like the Venture Building Program, which I'll be sharing more later.
All right, thank you, Vanan. So we have a video for everyone as you're tuning in. For those of you who are tuning in, we have a video for you. So this is with the Run 1 participants, and I think one of the mentors, Vijin, also shares his thoughts about this program. So it's about 2 minutes video. Sit back and enjoy.
So what we have seen is that many of the participants are PMETs with experience ranging from 5 to 30 years. They have lots of business experience, but they lack the requisite grounding in entrepreneurship.
I started my career in finance, but I always wanted to start and grow my own business. I think it's always scary to step out into the unknown. I don't think there's a perfect time to do anything.
If you are an alumni now considering to come into this Venture Builder program, I would strongly suggest you to do so because, first of all, opportunity cost is low. Next is that with the dedicated support that you have in the Venture Builder program, you are able to basically carry forward your ideas that you're interested in. So this is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
The mentors are all recruited from different industries and matched to the ideas that the participants would like to explore, and also give them the introductions to the necessary people for them to do their validations, and also for people they can talk to further bring forward their idea.
Multidisciplinary is the way to go for our graduates, and in this program, not only are they exposed to industry leaders, thought leaders in different disciplines, but they will also find a rich harvest of ideas.
And it's been a great opportunity to learn from one another, where the SUTD alumni bring in the technical expertise, and at the same time, the PMETs bring in the work and the business experience.
All right, so the question is, what is venture building all about? And I want to pose this question to Vanan to share with us what is venture building, because I'm sure that we have probably heard about different terminologies of incubation program, but what is venture building?
So Charmaine, the SUTD Venture Building Program is part of the Enhanced Startup SG Founder Program's Train Track, which aims to provide aspiring local entrepreneurs with a strong foundation in entrepreneurship. Ultimately, it is to help enable them to build better startups. It's essentially a 3-month program that will help individuals to identify business ideas, develop the ideas into products, and perform market validation. And not forgetting, the program also entitles the participants to a monthly stipend of $1,000, $1,500, excuse me. So they also get a stipend and they get to train on the program as well. So once you clear the 3-month program successfully, you'll be also encouraged to apply for the $50,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. And by being on this program, because basically SUTD is an EMP, Accredited Mentor Partner. So you'll be put on a green lane to fast track your application depending on your readiness level, as well as ensuring that you have all the ESG eligibility criteria met.
Right. And I think it's very interesting because, I mean, I've heard of incubation and venture building programs for a long time, but this is the first time I'm hearing, when I heard about the venture building run one, it's the first time I'm hearing that there's a stipend of $1,500 for the participants, for qualifying participants to even sit through and complete the entire program. And I mean, there's a lot of resources here pumped into in this program for, and I think it's also open to not only fresh grads and alumni of SUTDs. This venture building program is open to PMETs. Am I right?
That's right. So this is a unique, like what you saw in the video earlier. So the alumni bring together the academic experience, what they learn in SUTD, and also when they combine with the PMETs outside, they tap on their experience and expertise as well. So it's actually a two-way street, both sides enriching one another. So our first cohort, actually, we had over 20 participants. So it was a very interesting, diverse mix of people. So it was really interesting to see how they all come together and then form teams together.
Right, and we have 3 founders who joining us today on this live. So if you have any questions, please, ask them, and they will be more than happy to share their point of view with you today. So Vanan, do share with us more about what this venture building program is about.
So it's an immersive 3-month experience. We started this program, actually the whole program started in August under Enterprise Singapore. And then the various AUs were the first ones to kick this off. So SUTD's program started in November, and we started with over 20 participants. So within this 3-month program, they go through several rounds of pitches, as team formation, and mentoring as well. And then it trickles down to a pre-demo event where all the 9 teams eventually will do a presentation, and then followed by a demo day where 6 teams from the 9 teams were selected. And out of the 6 teams, 3 were selected to participate in the Enterprise Singapore's Founders Ignite event, which was just held yesterday. And actually 2 of our teams that came out from the venture building program, Run 1, came victorious, each winning $30,000 in the Startup Founder Grant Prize. So one of them is Broccoli, and we have one of the co-founders here to share more with us. That's Jillian, and the other one was an edutech startup called White Labs. So very excited that out of the 5 teams from the different AMP partners, 2 of them were from SUTD. So I'm shamelessly going to say that we train up champions when you come into the VB program.
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, out of 5, 2 out of 5 is a very. The other founders were from the other universities, right? SUTD, yes. NUS, and NTU.
That's right.
So maybe share with us a little bit how this program is different from other programs.
So our program is it's not just a 3-month program because we don't expect when you come in to after the end of 3 months that you're immediately a successful startup. So there's also post-program incubation and resource support. So startups founded through the VB program, essentially they can be fast-tracked for the Startup SG Founder Grant of $50,000. And if you form a team with at least 1 SUTD alumni, then you're also open to an internal funding of $10,000 from SUTD. So that's something that you can look forward to. And you also receive 1-year incubation support with a co-working space. You have access to regular accounting and legal clinics, and mentoring, which is a very important component. So we have our own in-house mentors. The program itself will come with a curated list of mentors, and you also have access to faculty members as well if you need any specific technical advice. And of course, open to plenty of networking opportunities with fellow SUTD alumni, industry mavens, and potential investors as well.
Yeah, and I think those are very great resources, from a venture building program or even an incubation program. And I think one of the interesting thing about this venture building program is that you can come in to look for other founders to build this idea together and really just just running through all these ideas and pitching them to judges and mentors along the way and fine tuning. And yeah, so I think who is this VB program for then?
So this is for anybody that has been thinking about entrepreneurship. So if you have been sitting on an idea for the longest time and you do not know how to start or where to go or what to do, then I think the time is now. I think in part we have to say thanks to the COVID situation as well, because it kind of forces us out of our comfort zones. So the VB program is for anybody who's not in full-time or part-time employment. The reason being is because it's a 3-month program that requires your full-time commitment. So you have to attend the lessons and the classes and the workshops. That is the reason why there's an emphasis on the commitment level. So, but it's open to part-time students, full-time students in your final year of studies. You're also welcome to apply. If you're an entrepreneur before, you had started a non-tech business, but ceased operations, or it wasn't revenue generating, you're also free to apply. Freelancers, self-employed, or you own a sole proprietorship, that's also perfectly fine. If you own a company that is currently dormant, that's also fine, because the whole idea is to encourage entrepreneurship and also to give past entrepreneurs a second chance, because not everybody really makes it to becoming a successful entrepreneur on the get-go. So you get a lot of experience from failing as well. So failure is also essential in becoming a successful startup. So we are cognizant of that. And of course, we will do this in consultation with Enterprise Singapore. So if you fulfill all the criteria, then nothing's stopping you from joining the program.
And I think if anyone has any questions at all, we have an email at the end of this session to share with them, to write in to Vanan and team at SUTD to help them through this process, even if it might be unclear whether they qualify, right?
That's right.
All right, and right now, actually, in this live, we have invited 3 of our founders from VB Venture Building Program Run 1 to join us, and we have some questions for them. We have about 4 questions today for them, and if you have any other questions, those who are joining in live, welcome. Please feel free to ask them in the comments, and Max would actually be sharing those questions with us so that our founders can actually can answer those questions. Right. So my first question for all 3 founders, and let me introduce them to you. We have Ting Yan from Procoli, and they have won one of the winners out of the 5 of SG Ignite Founders Ignite yesterday. So basically, he can share more as well on the opportunities and the grants from alumni's perspective. And we have Nicole from L Earner and Bree as well from Half-Life Plastics. And warm welcome to all 3 founders today. Thank you for joining us live. And I have some questions for founders today. Please, do a quick introduction of yourself, and then I run my questions through all of you. Is that okay? We'll start with Procoli.
Hi, I'm Jing Yan. Yeah, so I'll introduce what Procoli is first. So basically, we are a software as a service. We serve as a procurement workplace management tool for the condo management industry. And so our vision is to provide better living spaces for condominiums primarily, but also eventually all types of facilities.
Thank you, Ting Yan. And Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I'm the founder of Learner. So Learner is a data-driven platform that enables the upskilling of the ICT talent in emerging markets. So we are actually working with all the emerging markets in the Southeast Asia right now to train up the IT talents in the region.
Thank you. And we have Bree.
Hey, hi everyone, my name is Bree. I'm one of the co-founders of Half-Life Plastics. So essentially this kind of started with just my own interest in sustainability in the environment, and then was further strengthened by the last 8 years in oil and gas before I joined the program. So essentially what we focus on is actually trying to improve the cleanliness of plastic waste so that more of it can be made available to recycle, and hopefully that will actually decrease the amount going to incinerator and landfills, and hopefully overall decrease the amount of microplastics that's being in the ocean and the amount of total virgin plastic that's being produced, and decrease the reliance on fossil fuels.
Right, and I just want to share that for both Bree and Nicole, they come from a PMET background as well. So if you have any questions, any of you who are PMETs joining us live today, if you have any questions, please let us know in the comments. All right, so my first question to all three founders here today is, what do you think stops a founder from starting their business idea or venture? And how do you think this venture building program by SUTD actually help? So we'll start with Ting Yan.
Yep. So speaking from my own experience, so initially what stopped me was just the fear of failure. So I mean, this is a very common concern for everyone, I'm sure. But going more into this fear of failure, it's not just like a simple task, because usually, let's say you try something and you fail, it may be fast. But with a startup, we're not exactly sure how long this journey will be. So let's say we can go from studying the market to ideation, product development. But then if there's no market validation for this product, if you're unable to find paying customers, then what's next? Do you reiterate? Do you look to pivot, or do you just recognize that this is a failure? Yeah, so I think this is a fear that stopped me initially. And then the venture building program really helped, because it sort of opened my eyes to the fact that there's no need for a complete product, a complete vision. It's very easy to test out business ideas and just first receive the market validation and then iterate and improve. And yeah, so that's my experience.
And next, I would like to ask Nicole. Nicole, what do you think stops someone from starting? Yeah.
So for me, right, initially what is stopping me is more like lacking of the knowledge of how to actually go to market with the idea that I have. So, there could be a lot of things and delays that happen as well. So like as a first-time entrepreneur, I didn't know where to start and how to actually validate the products and how to make it gain traction at the beginning. So that was one of the biggest, I would say, like mental block that stopped me from starting my own business. Yeah.
And over to Bree.
Sorry, I was on mute. So for me, I think this is not the first time I'm trying a startup. I've tried to start one up last year. Sorry, in 2019. Forget that we're in another year now. But essentially, what stopped me, I think, was just the fear from what was left over, because I realized that it's actually quite hard to actually plan out the runway, because there's no sure benchmark of when your, like, what Dinian says, your product market fit's going to happen, when it's going to break even, whether you're even solutioning for the right problem. So I think that's pretty much what was something that I was facing going into this program. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and we'll go to the next question for the three founders, and I believe there is someone who asked a question on Facebook Live as well. So we'll come to that question shortly. So one of the next question that I have for everyone is all three founders here is, what are some of the struggles you face as an entrepreneur, and how did the VB program actually help you? So let's start with maybe Nicole, and then Jing Yan and Bree.
So my experience was pretty interesting, because when I actually finally decided that I will, start on my own and I'll start my own business last year, I was pretty much trying out different ideas on my own, and it took me a few months, and I feel like I've been sort of like going round and round and don't know how to actually go to market or even test the idea. So, that is where I realized that, I actually come from more than 10 years of corporate experience, but then, when it comes to starting my own business, it's a totally different ball games, and it's a totally different ecosystems out there that I need to tap onto, and I need to really understand how or what it makes what it takes to become an entrepreneur itself. Yeah, so those are my early day experience.
Thank you, Nicole. And Jing Yan.
For me, some of the struggles was due to my background. So I'm a fresh graduate and I come from an engineering degree. So I was more comfortable, say, with developing a product, coding, but then I was unfamiliar with the business side of it, how to, for example, package it, how to go to market, the financials, etc. And then beyond this is also, I think a large part of the business is also networking with people and trying to understand both the customers and also how to pitch this to potentially interested investors. Yeah, so this was more of the struggle for me, but I think after just trying it out and after receiving so much help and advice from mentors and peers at this program as well, then it helped me step out of my comfort zone and also develop more.
Yeah, and I think one of the things was the networking that you mentioned, right? I think Enterprise Singapore also linked you guys up with the associations, and one of the mentors as well linked you up with someone. So what about Bree?
I think it's a lot of personal stuff. Just in the times of like basically, again, same thing, like not knowing when your runway is. The question, at what point do you decide, oh, I actually can't afford to keep trying anymore, and then deciding like, okay, I need to give this a break now, go back to like normal non-startup life, and then return. I think this is the kind of thing that you always struggle with because you don't know, right? You don't know when your thing is going to become successful, when it's going to become worth it. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles generally that I face. And also like because of that, you also wonder like, why are you not successful yet? Is it because you're not the right person for the job? And now I think we have a name for this called imposter syndrome. So I think that's one of the fears. But in relation to that, I think one of the important things to note is that when it comes to thinking or mindset about it, one thing that really helps is actually asking yourself the question every day, if not you, then who? Who's going to solve the problem? Because if you want to give a problem a stab at solving for it, you should always try.
Thank you. And I think that is definitely something that came up from this program for Bree with solving a issue that is definitely difficult. I think throughout the whole program, we have heard your pitch and we have known how difficult it is to address this issue. So the next question I have for everyone is, what are some key takeaways from the recent 3-month SUTD Venture Building Program that you have recently completed? Maybe you can share with us if you have favorite modules that you think are essential for venture building or founders to really attend the program and go through, and what are some things that you yourself have taken away that that if you did not go through this VB program, it's something that you will never be able to experience. Maybe we'll start with Bree, Jing Yan, and then Nicole.
Happy to take the question first. I think one of the most important things that the program teaches is that there's actually a framework for one of the things that you do need to build your business model. I think the ones that were more essential for me were like building the model, understanding that when you are trying to find a product market fit or solutioning, there are different steps that you can do to work through it rather than just spray and pray and hit and miss. So because you have the framework in place, then you have a way to actually progress step by step. It's actually good to have a plan. So instead of just trying to guess what that plan might be. So that's one of the most useful things, I would say.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Bree. And over to Jing Yan and then Nicole.
Yep. So for me, there were 2 things. So first is the financials. It was very useful how through this program I learned like how to calculate the cost of maybe developing a product and estimate like what kind of software, what's the cost of maybe like the software used, developers used. Yeah, and then beyond that, maybe customer acquisition, what's the cost of that as well. So then being able to first calculate the cost then gave us a good idea of what kind of revenue we should be looking at and how we should price our product. So that helped. And then beyond that, I think the next most helpful thing was just learning how to package a business idea into a concise pitch. For example, because there's many times you don't have much time to elaborate on your product or your idea, and you still need to get people interested and understand what you're about. Yeah, so that was very helpful as well.
Thank you, Jing Yan. And over to Nicole.
So for me, I think the whole 3 months program is structured in a very good way that, actually helps us to first identify the real problem to all the way to, actually launching minimum viable products and go to market. So that is really a very good, well-paced program for the 3 months. But of course, the key takeaways are also, having the mentors with extensive experience in the startup ecosystem. So we get to learn how to structure our companies, how to set expectation with our co-founders, and also, how to even do a market research or survey correctly and things like that. So these are the really like golden nuggets that we get from all the mentor section every week. And most importantly, I feel that how this program helped me is like I feel that I'm not doing this alone. I have this extended team from the SUTD program, as well as all the mentor who is giving me and guiding me towards the right direction at every step of the program itself. Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. And I think we actually have a question. We might have answered it briefly along the way, but any of the founders, would you like to share your thoughts on this question from one of our live audience on Facebook? How did this program develop you personally as a person? Any founders, would you like to take this question? Okay,
I can
Bree?
take it.
Yes.
I think what's been really great is understanding both external people, like comments and feedback around you, and also like learning to work with the team. I think that's been really interesting because as Nicole said, there's a huge range of like founders and so on, and mentors as well, and then learning how to work with different personality types, different backgrounds, we all speak different languages, right? Like business people have their own idea and linguistics, and then like engineering or science people have their own linguistics. So trying to reach a consensus and trying to understand how to communicate exactly the same thing across different cultures, different personalities has been one of the most, I think, the best takeaways. That's really, really helped. And it's, I think, a skill that even outside of the BB program, outside of the startup life, is an essential skill. So
thank you. Thank you. And Jing Yan and Nicole, do you all have anything else to add to this question from our live audience?
Let me add to that. So for me personally, I feel that there are two key personal developments. One is the accountability, because like now that we are actually running our own business, like we have to take accountability for our vision, and also, as we start to raise the fund and things like that, it's very important to actually be very focused on the vision and the mission that we set out to do, and be accountable for what we promise as well, because it's important to be accountable for our co-founders, to our teams, and also to everyone who actually support us on this journey as well. So this is something that I think when we work in a corporate life, sometimes we kind of take it for granted, because we are just taking a salary, and then it doesn't get highlighted so much, as much as compared to when we become our own boss at this point of time. And the second thing is also more like the sort of like the balance between like being coachable, as well as deciding whether it's time to pivot the idea as well. So, we do work with a lot of different mentors along the course, and of course the mentors are from different industry or from different positions. So they all give different inputs, but it's also important to sort of like within our own thinking and decide what actually makes sense for the business or the vision that we want to achieve as well. So that is something that is more on the, I would say more on the intellectual development side of things. Like it gets you think a lot deeper in terms of what the feedback means, and how can you apply it correctly to your situation as well. Yeah, so those are the two key takeaways for me.
Yes, I do agree. Holding, the founders accountable, and I believe a majority of pitch sessions have helped the founders be accountable and have the answers, right? Because you have so many pitch sessions in the whole first 1.5 months of the program, and when questions are being asked and the next pitch session when you don't have the answer, I think usually the mentor do follow up with those questions as well. Okay, and Ting Yan, before we move on to the last question, do you have anything else to add to this question from our Facebook Live audience?
Yeah, I fully agree with what Bree and Nico said. Then I think maybe on the more personal side, it's just how to constantly be. It helped me examine where my motivations lie. So because there's a lot of uncertainty in this, in starting a startup, there's a lot of uncertainty. So to motivate myself, I have to really see why exactly should I continue with this? What is pushing me forward? Yeah. So that was on my own personal journey.
Thank you, thank you. And actually, we have another follow-up question from our Facebook Live audience. And the question, actually, we might not have a straight answer to this question, but I will just flash it on the screen so that all three founders can have a look as well, and our audience as well. How did the COVID situation help or put you into a disadvantage in starting up your business, and how did the situation, I think that a few parts to this question. The second part is, how did the situation change the direction of business moving forward, given that it is a startup? And I would like to open this question to Vanan as well, because I think one of the things that Vanan mentioned earlier in the talk is that there are, especially you go through the whole program, it puts you into a green lane for to apply for some of the funds that are probably not available to you if you start your own business on your own, right? And you do not have the resources as well. But feel free to answer. I would like to pose this question to all four, Vanan and the three founders here today. Anybody would like to take the question first?
Maybe I can.
All right.
If that's okay.
Yes.
So essentially, I think COVID has just been great in a sense, because in that 1 year, well, still running, that everyone's trapped at home and you have to use so much disposables to ensure hygiene. And also because so much of the workforce and normal daily processes were interrupted, there has been a huge shift towards looking at how else can we be more prepared for this sort of emergencies moving forward. And that's one. Two, and then of course, because of all the amount of waste that we're generating, there's been a lot of increased spotlight, as currently seen in media right now, about how we need to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and generally lead a more sustainable life. So I think, in a sense, at least for what Half Life Plastics is trying to do, it's gotten a bit of more attention, which is creating like a great environment for us to really understand how we can play a part in helping to reach those goals now in this time, so that next time if there's anything similar that happens, then we can deal with it. And plastic is one of the things that are generated the most because of all the disposables, especially even with our medical PPE. So I think in that sense, if anything, COVID has actually strengthened my belief that it's even more of a problem that needs to be solved urgently rather sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Bri.
Yeah.
And anything else to add from Nicole or Ting Yan or even Vanan? I believe COVID-19 is because of COVID-19 that there's a $1,500 stipend as well. So that helps quite a bit rather than putting us at a disadvantage in, going through the whole process and brainstorming and really just bouncing this off, not only to your founding members, but to mentors and, facilitators of the program with experience with the entire startup ecosystem, right? And I think if the founders have anything else to add, or participants from the Facebook Live audience, if you have any other questions, feel free to add a comment and we'll try to answer them towards the end of this entire Facebook Live. But before we go to the next part, I have a last question for all three founders here today. Who will you encourage to take part in this upcoming VB Venture Building Run 2 by SUTD? And I believe Vanan has a date for us today, actually. So I'll have the three founders actually share first, and then Vanan can share with us the exact date for this program. So maybe if Jing Yan, would you like to take the question first, and then Nicole and Bree?
Yes, sure. So I believe that anyone who's ever thought about developing or creating a product and take it further, they should actually try for this and just see how the experience develops them and see how the experience goes. Yeah.
Thank you. And Nicole?
Yeah, I will encourage that all the PMET who are actually thinking of starting their own business, and yet you really need the support in the startup ecosystem. I think this program is really perfect for them. Yeah.
And last but not least, Bree.
If you think that you have a solution to solve a problem, if you're open-minded to exploring how your solution can take shape, if you want to really test yourself and your personal growth, I think then join the program. Meet some amazing people in the program, founders and mentors alike. So.
All right, thank you. So that covers pretty much everyone, so long as you have a business idea, whether you're a fresh grad or PMET, part-time students as well. If you're interested in solving a problem, do consider taking part in this program. And I believe Vanan has a date for us. I think the program is starting in April and ending in June. Vanan, do you have some details for our audience today?
Yes, I do, but I just want to add that because having the participants from Run 1 actually share their experience and their insights and also whatever they have learned along the way, personally as well, I think this is really a great sharing session, because all these questions, all these concerns, they would have also have had before joining the program themselves. So whoever is considering sitting on the fence, or should I not join the program, I think this is really great, because they kind of mirror what you're feeling as well. So I must thank all our cohort 1 participants for sharing so candidly their experience. Having said that, the second run is actually coming up real soon. It's on the 5th April right to 25th June. So it's a great opportunity, and you guys will also get to experience everything the cohort 1 participants go to experience, and you can see the growth. For us personally, I think Shamin, you agree, from day one when we met the participants to the point that they graduated in January, you can see a vast difference in the way they approach the problem, how they develop the startup, and how the confidence level in their pitching, and even reacting to critiques as well. So the growth is definitely apparent. It's something that we are quite proud and very happy to see as well. So we can't wait to see how many more we can develop, not to mention champions. So mark the date, 5th April, 25th June. We will share with you the contact details and the QR code where you can directly actually go into the application form and hit us up.
Thank you, Vanan. And I think that's the date for you there. 5th April. So closing date details will be shared with you towards the end of this presentation. And right now, I would like to invite Vanan to share with us about the program. Just briefly, I think this is a very detailed program, like echoed echoing what the three founders have said earlier. I believe it's not easily available. I think all this contents, even if you have it available to you, the facilitation of it, the environment for you to pitch your idea to mentors, judges, and the resources available, it's not something available just anywhere. So Vanan, over to you.
Yeah, so the program is very structured, like what Nicole shared earlier, because we want to make sure that we don't throw anyone into the deep end of the pool straight away. So we make sure we gradually train you up to think like an entrepreneur. Many tend to think that the idea itself makes an entrepreneur, but to be a successful startup, you also need to have sound understanding on building up your startup ground up. And this includes finding your co-founder, forming teams, commercializing ideas, go-to-market readiness, brand strategies, market validation. So it's quite a long list. So we want to make sure that you're gradually introduced to the concepts one by one. And probably one of the key elements will be the mentor matching. So the mentors are very carefully matched with the teams so that it best resonates with the team's ideas and also the mentor's domain expertise. And of course, when you come into SUTD, we cannot deny that it's all about engineering, tech, and design. So you want to ensure when you come into the VB program, you also get a taste of SUTD's multidisciplinary design-centric approach to learning. So we line up some of our faculty stalwarts to also share their areas of expertise with the cohort as well. So I think it's in the next slide, you can see a couple of examples that we listed down. So you can expect to see experts like Professor Chua Chi Kai, who heads up our engineering product development, EPD pillar. He will share his innovations in 3D printing and rapid prototyping. This session is highly interactive and participants get to see the many wonderful things that we designed and 3D printed. He's a highly accoladed person, lots of journal entries as well. But when you talk to him, he's very approachable, and the students actually enjoy the session with them. And he brings in all his examples that is 3D printed, and you'll be quite amazed at something like a piece of jewelry that can be 3D printed that looks like it's some designer made jewelry. Prof. Morgan is also another favorite. He's from the EPD pillar as well. His research interests are in robotics with an emphasis in robot ergonomics and autonomous systems. A visit to his lab will be very fascinating as you get to see the various working robot prototypes. Some of you may have even noticed the autonomous cleaning robot in Jewel. So these are from Prof. Mohan's own startup Lions Bot that specializes in commercial cleaning robots. And Prof. Chien-Si heads up the SUTD's Technology Entrepreneurship Program, the STEP program. His research fuses design science, network science, and artificial intelligence to push the limits of data-driven design and AI. His aim is to create more inspired and creative decisions in engineering design and innovation management. So all in all, the VB program will not just be conceptual learning, definitely not, but it allows participants to network with specially curated lists of guest speakers, be they fellow entrepreneurs, industry leaders, or like our professors, whose main aim is to inspire and invigorate our participants to keep them going and not to give up on their ideas.
Thank you so much for sharing these details with us. And these are, I think, resources that are not available, to just any other venture building programs out there. Just to reiterate the uniqueness of each university's background towards this program, spearheaded and funded by Enterprise Singapore. And so the next question to everyone joining us live right now is, are you interested to build your startup venture? If you are interested, we do have some details for you, and I'd like to Vanan to walk through us some of this application process.
Sure, it's actually a simplified process. What you need to do is basically connect with us through venture@sutd.edu.sg, the email address there, or you can just connect with us through the QR code that links you directly to the application form. Send the application form to us. And then you'll be invited for a short interview. We'll go through your particulars, an SUTD rep, either myself or somebody from my team, together with a rep from Enterprise Singapore. We'll do a short interview with you to just understand your interests and what are if you have an idea already or any other questions that you may have about the program. So just to understand the candidate a bit better. After that, a letter of offer will be sent to you to confirm your placement on the VP program. And thereafter, we added to a Telegram group chat so you get to mingle with other potential classmates get to know the program a little bit better and also get to know each other a little bit better. You may even be able to find your co-founder through the Telegram portal as well. And last cohort, we had a good response. So we've actually increased our intake this time to 30 packs. So, but of course, slots will be filled up quickly. So don't hesitate. So use this opportunity, ask away all your questions. And if not, just send in your application and we can take it from there. We'll be in touch with you very soon.
Yes, and I think this marks the end of our session today. And I believe for all of the audience joining us live, it has been, a great time just hearing from these three founders and Vanan as well, about the venture building program. But if you have any questions, I do see many people joining us throughout the whole last 40 minutes. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask your questions. This is the QR code that Vanan has mentioned earlier, and this is the email right here. We are going to add this email into the comments as well, so that's easier for you to reach out to Vanan and his team. You could scan this QR code as well. Scan it and you'll be brought to a form to fill in the form and have your process facilitated, and SUTD would actually reach out to you. And as mentioned, just a very quick recap, the program starts 5th April 2021 up to 25th of June. It's almost like a 3-month program, full 3 months. And before we end, and feel free to ask your questions, I would just like to thank the three founders for joining us. These are their QR codes. And founders, do you have any last words for our audiences today? Maybe we can start with Bree, Nicole, and then Xingyan. Bree. Okay, maybe I think her Zoom is a bit. Maybe we'll start with Xingyan, Nicole, and then Bree.
Yeah. So thank you for this. Wait, sorry. Okay. Yep. I think this VB program is really great, and I would also like to thank all the mentors and for all the assistance and opportunities that this has given us as well. And then feel free to reach out to us as well, Procoli, if you are interested in what we are doing and would like to find out more.
Thank you, Xingyan. And Nicole.
Yeah. I would also like to thank all the VB program team, and as well as all the mentors who actually supported and helped us throughout the journey. Even after the program, now that we are incubated, we still continue to work with our mentor in our journey as well. So firstly, I would like to thank for that. And for learner teams, we are actually looking for a technical co-founder. So if you are in IT sectors and you believe in changing the way IT talent learn and earn in the industry, do reach out to me via LinkedIn as well. I'll be more than happy to connect. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Bree.
So everyone, I think you guys should give this a shot, because I think the best thing in life is at least you try, so that there's no regrets. Also, at the same time, as a shout out to Half-Life Plastic, if you believe in the cause and you want to play a part in helping us solve the plastic waste issue and save ourselves from microplastics, please, same as Nicole, give me a shout out on my LinkedIn. I believe, Charmaine, you'll be sharing the links to our pages as well. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about it. You might have a bigger role to play than you think. So thank you.
Yes, and these are the QR codes, so feel free to reach out to the three founders if you're interested to find out more about what they do, or if you'd like to just check their startups and their business out. Do scan the QR code. Their LinkedIn profiles are here, and we want to thank Vanan for sharing about this program with us again, and the three founders for joining us today. I think there's no other questions that I see from the Facebook Live right now, but even as this live session ends, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop it below, and Vanan and his team will respond to you accordingly. But check out the email that is in the comments below as well. So reach out to them, email, scan the QR code, and register as well. So last but not least, I'd like to thank everyone for your time, for joining us live today. And I look forward to seeing you in the VB program run too. So thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Okay, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.